Hi, and welcome to the Weekly Planner. I'm Kristina Abernathy. We'll take a look at your weather for the next 7 days coming up. But first, a look at the soggy situation in central Ohio. Flooding forced authorities to evacuate some homes in the south central part of the state. Emergency managers in Masseyville and Ross County have received several calls for assistance. The National Weather Service reported that up to 2.5 inches of rain fell from 5 to 8 a.m. this morning. Well, let's see what's in store for the forecast, and it looks like more wet weather is in store for Ohio and throughout the Ohio Valley. Actually, into tomorrow we'll see rain and we'll see thunderstorms. The areas in red could actually see severe weather. It does look pretty quiet though for most of the Northeast, and it's going to be warm. 62 in Boston, 70 in New York, and 73 in Philadelphia. So fairly mild weather here in the Northeast and not dealing with any wet weather, but we will see some of that wet weather farther southward in the Carolinas, Tennessee, and then back into Oklahoma, where Tulsa could see strong to severe storms, and that severe weather threat extends on northward up into the Midwest. Another hot day in the south, 93 in Orlando and Tampa, 89 in Houston, and 88 in New Orleans. So more warm and muggy weather on tap for your midweek, and unfortunately more severe weather. And we'll be concerned about Kansas City and Omaha, as well as Des Moines over toward Chicago. These are areas where we could see some pretty stormy weather. And again, it's the areas in red where we could see strong or severe storms. So we'll be keeping a close eye on these areas. Notice what we're seeing to the north and the west, though, is not rain but snow. In Montana and the Dakotas, we're thinking more wintry weather around Rapid City and Minot. So get ready. Winter not quite through with you yet, even though we're well into spring. Finally, in the west, what we're seeing is fairly quiet weather, except for the snow in Montana and into Wyoming. 90 in Phoenix, 68 and windy in San Francisco, and 62 the expected high in Portland with a few clouds around. Well, here's what we're looking at for the next several days as we look at our weekly planner, and unfortunately it's some severe weather here in the Midwest and the mid-Mississippi Valley, and some warm conditions to the south, and of course that snow moving through the northern tier states, our trough swinging eastward, and we'll see that replaced by some showers toward the weekend and more scattered thunderstorms here across the south with awfully warm weather. So here's how it's shaping up for Wednesday, just to recap for you. The threat of strong and severe storms from Oklahoma and eastern Kansas through Missouri, Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and northern Indiana. All of these areas that you see here in red could see rough weather tomorrow, and we could even see into the Ohio Valley thunderstorms here as well, but we think the greatest threat for strong and severe storms in the areas in red. And of course you can see the snow on the backside of this system, and that snow pushes eastward for Thursday into northern Minnesota. So get ready for some wintry weather here, maybe up toward International Falls. And then our front sort of pushing eastward with rain in New England to thunderstorms in the Ohio Valley and into the deep south, and some pretty warm conditions should continue along the Gulf Coast. The northwest, rain and some mountain snow for Thursday, and some areas in the interior west may see that on Friday as well. But we'll be quieting down, we think, in the northeast. Sunny skies return, but here in New England, do keep in mind that early in the day you may still see some lingering wet weather, maybe around Boston or Portland, but by the afternoon we think things will quiet down considerably in these areas. And then with our front sort of lingering here to the south, scattered thunderstorms from the Carolinas over into Texas. Now by Saturday, what can you expect for those weekend plans? Well, pretty quiet weather in the northeast, but not so in the north central states, because we'll see showers, we'll see rain, including around Des Moines and Minneapolis, with thunderstorms back down toward Kansas City, maybe St. Louis, and over toward Nashville. So awfully unsettled here on Saturday and into Sunday. We'll see a lot of that pushing eastward. So wet weather anywhere from the Great Lakes in New England back down into northeastern Texas. And by Monday, some of that continuing to push south and east. And then by Tuesday, it looks like the southeast seeing the scattered thunderstorms as that front settles on southward, and still some rain showers, at least through the plain states. Here's how our temperatures are looking. We're going to experience some pretty hot weather for you on Wednesday from Texas all the way across the deep south and into Florida, where we're going to see those temperatures in the 90s, and in western Texas maybe even above 100. Quite a contrast with those 30s and 40s here to the north, but we think things are going to gradually moderate even across the northern tier states. We won't see quite as many 30s. We'll see some 40s and 50s headed into the weekend. And across the south, the southern half of the country, 70s, 80s, and 90s are in your forecast. Toward the end of the weekend, even in the northern tier states, things are going to be fairly mild. We'll see fewer and fewer 40s and more 50s and 60s. And again, for a lot of the east and a lot of the south, things are going to be awfully warm and just downright hot across Florida and southern Texas with highs into the 90s. Stay with us.